This video here is going to be about the Injustice games. Here we go now. The Injustice games, right? Fighting games. Injustice, it is based in the DC universe. So, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern, right? So, basically, like you have one side of the roster, Injustice 1 mostly. One side of the roster is heroes, and the other side is villains. But the Injustice storyline, like, it's kind of weird, right? It's a weird storyline, like, where Superman, basically goes evil over time. Like, it's this kind of a dictator Superman, and a Batman has to create a group to stop him. So the Injustice storyline is, it's a kind of like some sort of alternate universe storyline where the main Justice League, they become tyrants, right? And Superman, he's like this dictator Superman, right? Batman has to create like some sort of group, to stop him. And yeah, it is a very weird take like in the superhero, a multiverse, a genre, right? But yeah, it's an Elseworld, alternate a universe thing. For me, I'm not a big fan of alternate universes, multiverses. And yeah, Justice 2 story, like, I felt more like an actual DC story, right? Where you had brought in a Brainiac, so you had a Brainiac, right? You had a Gorilla Grodd, right? Injustice, though, and the main thing with Injustice, right? Like, it is very fun to play, like, as all these characters. Martian Manhunter, for example, Green Lantern. I'm a huge Green Lantern fan. The Flash, right? So it is very fun to play as these characters, right? It's a fighting game, so most fighting games, as you play more and more and more of it, you get better over time. You understand the combos, right? The characters as well, every character fights different, right? For example, the Flash is all about speed. Doomsday is all about brute force. Other characters, for example, Deathstroke, which is all about versatility and projectiles. Nightwing is very easy to combo with. Batman as well, right? Some characters have flight. Other characters are very defensive oriented. Other characters are very much like a heavy hitter. And yeah, so the different characters they're gonna feel different like when you play as them. My go-to character, like in Injustice 1, Martian Manhunter, right? I like his long reach, right? So it's very easy for him to combo, and his one of the buffs is that he can stretch. Kind of like Mr. Fantastic. So his attacks, it's a lot easier, to attack the opponent. And yeah, a Green Lantern, right? I play as him as well. A Nightwing, right? A Doomsday, a Darkseid in the second game, and yeah, special super moves as well. What's very cool is a super move. So every character will have a certain super move. Flash, for example, has a very cool one where he literally, in Justice 2, he literally runs so fast that he time travels and he comes back in time, then he hits you, right? And yeah, Superman, for example, Superman in the first game, he literally uppercuts you to the sky, all the way up to space, then he literally hits you back down to earth. And yeah, so like with these finishing moves, they're pretty cool, right? So, Aquaman, for example, too. Aquaman, where he summons the shark. A Darkseid, for example, Darkseid, right, is super cool. And yeah, with these finishing moves, obviously you have to build up meter, right? Depending on how well you play, right? Catapulting too as well. Catapulting. So catapulting, it's kind of hard for me to explain. So literally, you hold back while pressing X. You hold back and you literally catapult your opponent to the other side of the map. It is actually pretty cool. It is pretty cool. It allows for more damage, right? But you have to be on a certain side of the screen. So you have to be a certain side on the arena for it to work. It is pretty cool to see this go down, right? Yeah, it can really turn the match in your favor, or if you're not careful, it'll go against you, right? If your opponent hits you with it. And yeah, every character also has like a certain icon special. So like their icon, right? Like on the bottom like of the screen, for example, Martian Manhunter, where he stretches longer, right? Doomsday becomes invincible, right? Like a defensive buff, right? Other ones too as well, where they'll do extra damage. Batman has this extra batarang, a projectile. Catwoman has like a certain mix-up combo, right? Like an extra combo. Flash freezes time, literally, right? Or he slows down time. Other ones too as well, where they have like a flight special or some sort of trap. or some sort of a projectile special where their projectiles do extra damage. So the icon specials is very important that use them wisely throughout the fight. And yeah, some characters have a very, underwhelming special, right? Other characters have a very effective, unique special. Wonder Woman special, for example, the icon special where she goes from the lasso shield to the sword, right? To the double sword. No, to the sword and shield. It is pretty cool, and she gets different combos because of this. Blocking. So blocking for me, I'm not used to the holding back to block. I don't like it very much. It's kind of for me confusing, and that's just me, right? I prefer just pressing R2, or if you're on Xbox, a right trigger, right? It's a lot easier for me. But the blocking, the hold back to block, hold a back to block, a tongue twister. Literally, your character moves backwards as they're blocking, right? You can also hold a down to block, right, where your character stays stationary, and yeah. So with clashes as well, clashes. For me, I'm not a big fan of clashes, but clashes literally is a way for you to, use your meter. So your, like your overall meter, like in first, like in a first game, second game, the clashes will kind of give you an advantage. But you have to have a certain meter. So for example, if your opponent has more meter than you, the clash is not gonna work because they're gonna get the advantage over you, and yeah. So you have to make sure that you have roughly at the same amount of meter, right? And yeah, if it is equal, contested, the clash will have no effect, like on both sides. If you have more health, right? So let's say if you have more health than your opponent, I believe you do more damage at your opponent, or vice versa. If you have a very little health, right, or a less health, you'll actually get more. You get more health, right? I'm not sure, there's a 2 meters, so there's 2 health meters. I think in the first game, the clash only works if you're on your second health bar. And you press R2 or right trigger to activate it, and yeah. This, the clash, depending, like on how you like to fight, this can take you out of the game, so it can kind of interfere like with the pacing of the game. So if you're, if you're very fast paced at your fighting games, this can kind of take you out of it, right? The pacing, for me, I'd rather it just be a fighting game instead of having the clashes. But it can help you out. It can help you out. So if you're not very good, or if you're fighting against somebody better than you, or like on a hard difficulty, I recommend using the clashes. With the level up system too as well. So the playing through the game, the level up system. Injustice 1 had the overall level. So you just had that one overall level. Depending on your win-loss record, and the more you win, the higher your level, and the more XP you get. And yeah, in both online and single player. Injustice 2 is a little different. The gear system. So they introduced the gear system. The gear system is kind of like, you can make your character look different, right? In, their, abdomen, shoulder armor, or some sort of a visor, right? You can also customize color, right? And yeah, but the gear system literally dictates at the level like the character. Like a level 20, let's take a level 20 bat mask, for example, for a Batman, which will have will give you a certain advantage, and I'll really level you up quickly, and yeah. Now, like with the gear system, it is pretty cool. Every character has it. I believe Injustice 2 has like, how many characters? 30-something characters, and more, right? But the thing with it though is that it can make matches uneven. So let's say like if you have a level 20 Batman, right, versus like a level 5, let's say a Black Manta or Starfire. And the match is going to be very easy, for Batman, because Batman's going to do a lot of damage, and he's not going to take a lot of damage because of this. So this gear system, a level difference, it kind of makes the game, unbalanced, and I believe you can turn it off. I'm not sure how much of a difference it makes. But yeah, the gear system is a lot better in Injustice 1, where everybody, was under at the same level, right? And it's just all about skill, right? But the gear system in 2, I didn't really like. Injustice 1, uniforms. You had uniforms in both games. You had more uniforms on Injustice 1 per character. So Batman, for example, Batman being the most popular DC character, he's gonna have the most amount of uniforms. He's gonna have, the Year One Batman, a Flashpoint Batman, for example, Arkham City Batman, various other comic book Batmans, a Superman as well, right? A Red Sun Superman, right? Green Lantern has a Yellow Lantern uniform, right? And yeah, so these uniforms they're very cool. If you get I recommend getting the Legendary Edition in both games because you get to unlock all the DLCs. These uniforms back in the day were DLC, so you had to pay for them. It was kind of like a cash grab by NetherRealms, right? Where you had to pay for a certain set of uniforms, right, per pack. But like with the special edition, right, that's all there already with the game. Yeah, so multiplayer as well. Multiplayer, I played a co-op, like a regular co-op. But multiplayer, I rarely ever play. Rarely do I ever play a multiplayer. Like I said before, I'm not good at fighting games, right? Like I play very casually. Right? I just play to have fun. But multiplayer is there for you as well, or online. I don't know if Injustice 1 works anymore for multiplayer. I think 2 works. I think 2 still works, right? Along with if you play Mortal Kombat X, I believe, or Mortal Kombat 11 obviously still work. But I'm not sure about 1, Injustice 1. Obviously, like with multiplayer, it depends, like on your skill level, right? So some players are going to be very skilled, extremely skilled. Other players are not so much. And I believe there's a matchmaking, so it matches you up with somebody more, that's on your level, right? And yeah. Just 2, you also had, like, in terms of extra modes, Multiverse. So Multiverse is a way for you to, it's kind of like a Towers mode, but you could choose. So the Towers mode, right, is literally a way for you to get better gears for your character. But the Multiverse, back 6 years ago, the Multiverse would change. I believe every week it would change, right? They had different specials for certain characters, right? And it would change every week. Going into DLC characters, Injustice 1, you only had 6 DLC characters. Scorpion, Zod, who else you had? A Martian Manhunter, Batgirl, Zatanna, and what was the other one again? I can't remember his name. But yeah, and Injustice 2, you had Black Manta, Hellboy, right? Characters like from other universes. Raiden, like from Mortal Kombat. I believe Starfire was one as well. What's his name? The Atom was one as well. The Turtles as well. Ninja Turtles, they're in it, and yeah. So the DLC characters, they're pretty cool. Darkseid as well, which is like, I believe, a Brainiac is like a new game. You have to complete the game once to unlock Brainiac, like in the second game. I believe Darkseid was a DLC as well, and yeah. So these characters they allow for more replayability as you get to combo like with more characters, right? And it is always weird like when you have the a DC game and you see like other characters like from other universes and properties brought into it. It is pretty cool. Mortal Kombat, for example, they added in Spawn, Terminator, Rambo, right? Back in the day, it was a Kratos, right? It's pretty cool. And yeah. One of the differences too, like with these games, right? If you try and play the Injustice 2 Special Edition, the download might take a while, right? So the download, like with more recent games, PS4, PS5 games, the download install time might take a little while. Injustice 2, similar to like Mortal Kombat 11, you have to wait for every character at the download. Injustice 1, because it is an older game, right? Didn't take up as much space. It was very easy. I had the characters downloaded right away, and yeah. Unlike Injustice 2, you have to wait for the characters at the download one by one.